Welcome to Unpacked, real conversations for diplomatic partners who are ready to unpack more than just boxes. This is the space for the brave questions, the messy middles, and the quiet decision to stop shrinking and start showing up fully. We talk identity, purpose, transitions, and what it really takes to feel at home in a life that's always moving. Because you've always been more than just the label, and this is where we say it out loud. Hi, I'm Emma, and I'm with my co-host, Anna.
Hi everybody, welcome back to Unpacked. I am here with the lovely Anna, and we are going to talk all today about friendships in country. So we've talked about your relationships with your partners, your families, navigating that family system. Then we had a look at last time looking at the long distance relationships and the friendships and the families and how we maintain those connections with those people who are far away. And now we're going to really focus on all of those people in country that make our time so special in this country. So how are you doing, Anna? Sorry, I can't
Great.
do
No, that was a very solid introduction.
Yeah.
And a brief of what's going to happen in this episode. I'm doing great, thank you, Emma, and it's lovely to be back. And I can't wait to dive into this very important topic, I think, because we kind of were discussing a bit right before recording. Why is it more difficult as an adult to make friends, and why is it still so important? We both think important to have friends not only, in the country where you're from or what, like let's say across time zones, but really the physical ones, the ones you can go and hug.
Yes, and I think that physical presence of somebody in the room, you need that, don't you? You can't match that
Yeah.
through,
No.
you do need that. You do need those hugs. You need someone sometimes to
Yep.
put the hand on the leg and like, I understand you've got this. Um,
Yeah.
so it's a really important topic for me anyway, for us to talk about this today, and I'm really excited. Before we get in, how are you doing, Anna? Have you got anything to catch us up on over what's happened for the last few weeks?
Oh my God, time flies and so many things have been happening. So I had the master class, the regret relocating for your partner's career on Tuesday. There was a lot of work, obviously, getting things running, inviting people. And we had such an amazing session with people joining us literally from all over the world. Some could not join because they were fast asleep, on the other side of the world. And yeah. And then yes, so uh, here I am recording the podcast with you. Sorry, my son just walked in. No, that's also what happened. This is life. He
Yeah.
had a swollen face like that because
Oh
yesterday
no.
he got his wisdom teeth extracted and
Oh,
he's 12. So
that's
after
very
this, I'm
young.
going. Well, long story. They had to be
Okay.
taken out. Anyway,
Bless.
and that's why, when life is so busy, it's kind of me running the business and inviting people, setting things. And Emma, it's kind of one woman show. I'm
Yes.
doing all of that. I'm building the funnels, I'm doing the automation, I'm writing to people, I'm inviting. It was a collab, but still, there's so much that you do, the content that you put out your son who had to have, obviously I had to be with him yesterday and he had the ice packs and the antibiotics and all of that. So
Oh,
yeah,
it's a
um,
lot.
life is busy and yeah, I don't know. It's like, oh yeah, I can do things, when things get a bit, slower and somehow it hardly ever happens.
It never gets slow. And I think this is the one thing that I talk about with my clients, and that this is just life. And there is, um, in our way of life as well, the moving, the traveling, you know, it's constant, isn't it? And they're huge changes. And when you're trying to balance all of that out, our capacity most of the time can be at zero or in the negatives, because we're holding so much together. So it is really about making sure that, how do I plan for those times when I have nothing in the tank to give, but I still can
Yeah.
feel, I can still feel really good. And as always, Anna, we're in the exact same positions because since we last spoke, I've moved house. So yeah,
Yeah,
I
exactly. That's fun stuff,
yeah,
right? I know.
yeah, I
How
was
did
like,
that go?
it was. You know what? I mean, as with we're very privileged, aren't we? We get lots of people to come in and help. They people that move everything. So as far as moves can go, it's the easiest possible move I could have possibly had. However, the mental, physical, emotional drain is still always super present. And I was like, do we really need to move? Like, babies don't need to take up that much space, do they? Well, apparently, yes, they
Yeah.
do. They've already got a lot of drawers
Okay.
full already,
Yeah.
and they're not even here yet. So I remember I sent a picture I sent a little video of our new apartment to my friend. I was like, and I think if we need to get some like toy storage, I'll put it there. And she just said, you think you might need toy storage? I think you're definitely going to need some toy storage. Whereas I was just
Yeah,
thinking it was a
absolutely.
question. So, yes, that whole process, it was, yeah, it was as smooth as it can be, but you still have the horrible thing of, oh, everything needs to be organized all over again.
I
I,
know.
I've got
Yeah.
boxes in every single room. We haven't even, right now, we don't have any, art or photos up or rugs down. We're still a
Yeah.
little bit all over the place, but I'm kind of like, no, we're in. There's
You in.
there's one box left, and that's it.
Amazing. Emma, guess
Yeah.
what? I'm moving on the 10th of December. We're moving apartments too. So
Oh,
that's why it's like, yeah, yeah, I am dreading it, I have to admit.
yeah. It's funny, isn't it? Because obviously sometimes it's really exciting to have a move and you feel like the fresh start. But you think about people.
No.
I think about my parents, and they moved earlier this year, and we'd been in our family home for 30 years.
Oh, that's a big move.
And it was
Lots of
definitely
stuff.
definitely
Lots of
big. I
stuff.
think they were decluttering and things for years before even thinking
No,
about
that's very good. Yeah, yeah.
actually doing it. But and one thing I am grateful for is the constant need to go through your stuff and actually evaluate. Do I still
I
need
agree.
this?
I agree. I agree. But it requires some time. It requires your mental, emotional effort to really, do Marie Kondo
Yes,
your life yet again
yes,
for I don't know, gazillions of times. And that's why it's like, oh yeah, I've done it many, 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 many times before. And that's why I know what it takes. Yet it has to be done. But for now, I've parked it. I'm kind of,
yes, yeah.
okay, so let's go back to our friendship.
Yes, yes, we're back. But it's always nice to have a little catch up anyway. So with
Absolutely.
adult friendships, first of all, I think sometimes as an adult, we find it very hard to make our friends as adults, and I would love to unpack why as adults we find this so hard. And I think for myself, for one particular reason is if you think about when you go to your school friends and your childhood friends, you have the proximity. You're basically thrown into these situations where you are surrounded by your peers who are at the same stage of their life, their same age. You've got even a shared teacher in common. You're from the same local area, presumably, and you are basically forced to spend time together with these people.
Yeah.
So you naturally have the ability to spend time building connections. Whereas when we're in adult friendships, we have this idea of a proximity factor, but we have so many other things that, underlie how this makes it a challenge. Do I have my own family? Am I navigating that? Do I have, if you think about how long children spend in school, like 25, 30 hours a week, when do you when do you spend time with someone for 30 hours in a week to make some sort of deep connection? You have
Yeah.
adults are all going through different stages of their lives. You have friends who are older, who are younger. A lot of the time people say that they make their friends through work, don't they? Um, And again, that's because they have this proximity factor that they're
Yes.
all forced into this situation. So in our situations where as as expat and diplomatic partners, we don't have that office structure. We don't have that environment. We don't have anything that kind of keeps us all together. Plus, then we're having all these other competing factors of different ages, different stages of life, different interests, and that in itself can make finding friends in adulthood especially difficult. What do you think, Anna?
Yes, absolutely. And yeah, oh my God, I was thinking, who has 25 hours to spend on anything? I
Yes.
don't know, definitely. I mean, like, friendships, absolutely, and I think we all do, we live busy lives. And yet, this is one of the most important pillars, I think, for a truly, well, amazing life abroad. I think you want to have your people. And I think that's why I mean, going back to school, yes, I was thinking, yeah, sure, I had I was getting along with everyone, but not everyone was my friend.
Yeah.
And and that's why I think when you move countries, and maybe we can unpack it a bit more further. I think we go through stages, right? How do you meet people? Where do you meet them? And how then you basically hand select your people? Because I think this is the key, because being surrounded by people, lots of people, does not mean fulfilling friendships or something that brings you joy necessarily. And I think I've definitely done it in the past, especially in my first, maybe even second posting. I really tried to fit in. I went along to all lunches or coffees or outings and really was actively putting myself out there, just really so that I belonged. I was one
Yes.
of them, and people, saw that I was really trying. Uh, and I have to admit, with time, I realized, well, I definitely would do it a few times now, that I've done it basically quite a lot of times. And if that does not bring me joy and fulfillment, the interactions on the conversations, I would not do it again. I think I've really learned to be fulfilled and happy on my own and wait for the right people to come into my life.
Yeah.
How
And
about
I,
you, Emma?
well, yeah, it's very interesting. I was thinking back to when I first arrived in, well, first of all, first arrived in Pakistan. I was definitely very much like you. I was like, let's get out there, let's see as many people as I possibly can, let's make those connections. But you realize very quickly that that can be very, very draining. Um, and then when I moved to Kenya, I had the complete opposite experience. I was like, I have made all my friends in Pakistan. I don't want any new friends. I want those friends. Bring those here. You know,
Oh,
it it,
okay.
it was a really interesting thing. Like, oh, I think because because it takes so much emotion,
Yeah,
physical, and
it does.
time and energy to make those connections and to find the people. Um, I was like, oh, I have to do this all again. And of course, I just like had a moment to myself, had a good chat, and was like, yes, of course you are, because you need to have some friends here. But I think that idea of we are very emotionally overloaded, because ultimately, when we've just arrived at post or in the new country, you have had to just navigate a huge amount. You've had to close down your life in one country,
Yeah.
lived out of a suitcase for goodness knows how long, arrived in a new country where you're being thrown new supermarkets, new road systems.
Yep.
You are so overwhelmed by everything that then the idea of having to then put yourself out there is like, I can't, do I even have the capacity to do this right now? Like, do I have it?
Exactly.
And then the whole practicalities of, you're trying to settle in, you're trying to get your kids settled, you know and I know you've said this before, Anna, haven't you, about getting everyone else, you arrive in country, where as a mum, a partner, and then finally as yourself. So it is really about that, trying to reduce that social investment, which can feel very heavy at first, trying to just lower that down so it can feel like it's a bit easier for us to navigate when we first arrive, I think.
Yes, exactly. And that's why I think the easiest way to really have some connections, basically from day one, I'd say that these are probably people who are already at post, other spouses or, spouses of your partner's, I don't know, colleagues so basically those are most likely the ones who would show you around or give you some tips. And I think, if you embrace those connections and see whether they develop in something, deeper, but they're already given, they're kind of already there because they've been in the country, they're kind of a few steps ahead of you. And I think if you rely on them first, I think they mentioned it, right? It's in one of the episodes, like, it can be if you only stick to those, you are socially dependent again because it's all again kind of his or theirs, right? Your partner's
Yes.
network and how to branch out and find your people. Um, and yes, totally understandable, Emma, when you say is like the amount of energy and invisible mental emotional load you are carrying when you move countries. Yes, definitely. If you are depleted, that's the last thing on your long, long, long to-do list. It's
Yes.
um, like effort. Really? That's another thing I have to do.
Yeah. Yes,
Really?
it is. And I remember when I first arrived, I was like, okay, my to-do list this week is I'm going to meet 3 people for coffee, and it becomes, and like, I don't know, I guess it's like when you're doing like a date, I mean, when you start dating and, it's like a numbers game. It's a little,
I
it's
love
kind of,
that.
it's a little bit like that where to go and meet people,
Yeah,
you have
exactly.
you have to have the the energetic availability, the social, like you have to feel as though you're able to take it on. But it's so worthwhile the investment to do it. But it is like you have to go out there
Yeah,
and put yourself out there. And I think that that's probably what's difficult as well as adults because our fear of rejection actually increases as we get older. I think we put more emphasis on what people are thinking about us, how I show up. You when you meet people for the first time, you want to feel really positive. You want to show them your best selves because you want them to like you. And if you're
yeah.
actually if you're feeling like you say you've got no emotional energy and you're completely depleted and you're like,
You just
I've got so many boxes to unpack at home. You know,
exactly.
you
I don't have this I'm positive facade. I cannot keep it up, right? It's like,
yeah.
no.
No, and like
Yeah.
I think that if we're in that space, we're naturally really aware that okay, yes, I could go to this coffee morning or do whatever, but right now I really don't feel good, and that can be a bit of a cycle, can't it? Where
That's true.
it's a very fine line where we need to balance out pushing yourself out there to go make some connections and to test out and give you the energy, but also protecting your own energy when you know it's really not right for you in that very moment.
I agree. I think that's a very good tip. Just be aware where are you energetically because we all know we can never ever give from an empty cup. Like, we cannot be our authentic, amazing selves when our battery is like running on, I don't know,
Yes.
5%.
Mm.
No, I think then you are your priority. Because I think also ultimately, yes, rejection, I don't know. I was thinking, I don't think I'm afraid of being rejected as a friend. Like, if you don't like it, you don't like me. And look, I'm not the vanilla ice cream. Everyone needs to like me anyway. But I want to be around people who really then value me and see me and appreciate me for who I am. And I would like to
Yes.
be with them. It's like, unguarded, really fully present. And I
Yes.
think to get there, you obviously have to, I think to a degree, you have to be willing to spend some time on your own too,
Yeah. And I
right?
think, yeah, you have to be your fully authentic self, I think. Um, and
And be your own best friend first. I really think, like the whole friendships, like for me, the whole life around you, it's a reflection of what's happening on the inside. Like, and if sorry, if I don't like my own company, well, chances are high other people would struggle to like my company too,
yes.
right? And if I'm my best friend and I've got my back and I really appreciate myself for who I am, most likely I will appear in other situations as my authentic self and I would resonate with people. It's not fake, it's true. And if you also are then pretty, you're good. Like no one, you don't need this validation necessarily from other people. If you know you're amazing and you're kind of I don't know.
No, you're
You don't need to be
right.
validated by others, right?
Yeah. So I think, and that's if you basically, I mean, we talked about this in a few episodes ago or something. If you, like the first thing you could do to start with this is like, okay, what do I want in a friendship? Okay, do I want to have fun with them? Okay, how do I find create fun for myself? And then actually fill in
Yeah.
your time with that, and then you can, you see friendship as a like the icing on the cake. Maybe I think it's probably more the jam in the middle. Probably actually, I think it's sometimes it's the jam and the icing all together, because I do feel like connections. We've talked about how important connections are, and I do think that the connections that you make in country are super special, and they make your time really special. So I do feel like they're vital. They are the jam that glues you together. But at the same time,
Yes.
the whole reason why it makes it so excited is because it's the icing as well. We need to. It's having the fact, but you know, you need to have some solid, really good sponge. to,
Exactly.
and that's
I
just
love the cake
yourself.
analogy. I was like,
Yeah,
I'm getting hungry. Actually, that cake sounds delicious.
yeah. But if you haven't got the good sponge, there's no point in having jam or icing, is there? So there we
No, no, no,
go.
absolutely. I think because then if you're looking for friendships from the point of lack,
Yes.
right? I think that's why it's like I'm lacking so many things. That's why I need people around myself to give them to me. That's kind of well, you're outsourcing things you shouldn't be outsourcing because
Yeah.
then you're afraid of rejection,
Yes.
really, because that's the only way it can happen. Because otherwise, well, okay, cool. um, you know, you'll be really okay with that because you're not rejected as a person. You are an amazing person. It's just maybe not your type of person. But I think the key is then okay. So here you are, new, brand new, in a new country, going through the boxes, going through this, emotional,
Hmm.
carrying all of that. So how do you find your people? I
For
think
me,
that's the biggest
yeah.
question.
So I think that there are a few things that I've always done in that first instance, um, and I like to call this the like my minimum vulnerability opener. So if I'm going
Hmm.
to you want to meet people, you have to go through like a testing process to see if they're the right person for you. Are we going to connect? Do I want to see them again? And
Yes.
you know, for some people, when we hear this idea of vulnerability, it's like, oh my gosh, I've got to share everything about myself. Um, no, not at all. Like, if we're talking about what is the minimal thing, it's actually just putting yourself out there. So, speaking to someone and saying, "Do you fancy having a coffee?" Or I heard they've told you about this cool bakery or a new cafe, and like, oh, would you mind if I join you on the next time you go? And just that, just or even just saying, I knew I'd like to meet some people. Does anyone know where I'm going to say yoga, and I always get annoyed with myself when I say yoga because I'm like, have some more examples. But it is the first example because that's something that I would say. So does anyone know any really good yoga studios or yoga teachers in the area that I can go to? So it doesn't even need to feel like it's a personal thing. You're showing someone that what you're interested in, and you're allowing someone also to help too,
Yeah,
which I think is a really
absolutely.
nice way.
Yeah.
And it's
Uh,
low
uh, uh,
pressure.
uh,
I think you've got your pressure is so low for the other person. They can just say, yeah, here you go. This is, or you should speak to this person. Like there's not a high stakes interaction at all.
No, absolutely. I think it's definitely a good start. And I think those things, that you enjoy doing, I think the chances are high you're going to meet people you enjoy spending time with, at those places. If this is
Yes.
yoga for you, you might meet like-minded people doing yoga. Like for me, it's the gym, you know, and things like that. Or one of my best friends here, a local Lebanese, I met her at the nail salon we both go to. We just started
Yeah.
chatting. And I think for me, it's like if you just start a conversation, if you haven't trained that muscle yet, just maybe, start talking to people,
Yeah. And I think,
compliment them on something. I think the best way, if it's total stranger, like can compliment, oh, I love you. I don't know, like, cool headset. Okay,
yes.
that's not you, Emma.
Yeah.
It's
Thank
something
you.
compliment. See something, see something. Or I don't know, maybe hair, maybe. And I because I do it, for me, it's kind of it's okay. So I can compliment a stranger in earrings and you have a conversation. It naturally happens.
Yes. And I think as well with this idea of like that proximity and kind of seeing the same people, and it's not always the case in cities because people move their schedules and things, but if you had, say, a exercise class or a cafe, or it's amazing how many people also go to do the same things roughly on the same at the same time every week. So if you can be consistent in showing up somewhere, maybe consistency looks different. Maybe it's not the same time, same day, but at some point every week you go up to that same yoga shoes. You're bound to start seeing the same faces, and when you start to see
Exactly.
the same faces, then you have the natural conversations of, oh hi, how are you doing? Or you're looking forward to this, and so really,
Yes.
really embedding yourself into already structures that already exist, I think are so important. I think that would be really key for me.
Absolutely. And I actually think for people who have kids and pets, it's way easier to meet friends. I always say,
Yes.
if you're new, have a pet or get a child, you'll be fine because, you know, also throughout my journey, the most amazing friends I've ever met, they were through schools. Because you hang out together, or playgrounds, or play groups. And obviously, if you have a pet, especially dog,
Yeah.
that you walk your dog, well, you'll be meeting the same people probably in the same places, and that's how these connections start. Um, so yes, sometimes
Yes.
there are your places of hobbies, local cafes, right, schools. If you have pets, that's walking your dog. But just I think you think that other people are probably really what if they really want to meet other people, what they really want to talk to you, but they're just a bit too shy, and you kind of breaking this ice by, I don't know, opening a conversation or striking a conversation. Just if you see everything like that, and if not, well, that's okay too. But
Yeah.
it's like with muscle, with everything, the more you practice it, it feels very natural. And obviously, you don't have to do it all the time. You
No.
don't have to talk to everyone non-stop. But knowing that you can, and if you feel like it and your energy levels are high up, because I think ultimately, what I give to my clients, you have to have your inner, middle, and outer circle. What is your inner circle? Okay, this is your family and people who really kind of hold you. And then your middle circle, it is a wider group, your friends. But all of those, they have to be uplifting. It can be places and people because I think if it's draining, like for me, it's definitely a no. I would not do it again. I mean,
Yeah.
not once off, maybe I do it a couple of times, but then I know, okay, it's not my cup of tea. And it's fine
No,
too.
and it's absolutely fine. And I think that, this whole idea of being proactive and I think is actually really important. I used to go and do my morning walk, and there's always like the same girl who was, not every time, but we would see each other. I'd have my earphones in, listen to a podcast or speaking to a friend on voice note. She was probably listening to a podcast. And then eventually we were like, we should just go for a walk together sometime, and it doesn't have to be like you can host people, or if it's like a play date, you can like sometimes people think they put this the pressure on themselves to be the best host and to put all, just like, how about we all go to the park together, everyone bring their own lunch and we can have a picnic. Everyone is responsible for their own child, no one's taking on additional responsibility. Everyone is going to
Yeah.
be there, and just really try and just lower those costs of starting something, I think, is the most important thing, because yeah, you want to come out of it feeling, I know when I've hosted certain things where I've really wanted to, like, I love hosting like Christmas coffee mornings with mince pies, and
Oh, yum.
I
I
love
wish I
doing
could join
that.
you, Emma. I
Yeah,
really wish I could join you.
I love doing that, and I've to be as inclusive as I possibly can. I've invited every partner that I know, to my home,
Okay.
um, and I love the experience. I love the organisation. I love doing like that. That's something that brings me joy. But at the end of it, I had like that much of a conversation with anybody? Probably not. I've
Yeah.
just helped facilitate a conversation with other people, which is nice. That's the whole purpose of it, to bring people together for me. But you have to really ask yourself, what do I want from this? Is it that I want to organise this for other people to get involved and I have to host and actually do all of the leading, or do I want to be part of it? And if I want to be part of it,
Yeah.
then lower that entry level. Let's just meet one person or two people at a time, and just make it nice and easy. Go out for lunch. Don't bring them round to your house. If you want to have a cake, you don't have to bake it. You can just buy one.
No, exactly.
Like just
Use the path of least resistance.
yeah,
Order
just
stuff.
yeah, make it easy.
Oh,
Um, but the best thing about that then is really that you've initiated something, and that opens the door for someone else to initiate something, and it helps to open up further opportunities in the future, which is the most important thing.
absolutely. So, I think there are lots of ways, and but they do
Yeah.
require some time and some energy, that's for
Yes,
sure.
they definitely
And
do.
I think I would recommend if you're very new and really kind of, I think we all, like Emma, you said you also did, like, really try to have a jam-packed agenda and, meet everyone and be out there and really belong. I think I would recommend just be selective.
Yes.
And if it drains you, just don't do it.
Yeah, and I just think as well, like as a positive part of all of this is we're really, really fortunate, aren't we, that we live in cities and in communities that are so used to having people come in and come out. And so people are very aware of your situation. They know they've been through it. They're open. They want to help. So they know that you've been in that situation. This is why friendships can form really, really fast as well, because everyone is
Oh, yes.
aware. Everyone is really aware of what, how you're feeling right now. So I think the positive elements is that yes, with a little bit of effort, and it can just be a tiny little bit of effort, we can make connections really, really easy.
Yes, I have, it's so interesting because I think I know you are on a compound right now, and I've lived
Yeah,
on compound before. But I realized like right now I'm in a big city. I live I live among other people. I'm not in a compound. I don't see other diplomatic people, so to speak.
yeah,
So my friends, and this is I have to admit I enjoy more living their regular lives, having different conversations, because and again, this is my choice. This is how I enjoy it. It's not like I'm completely avoiding all diplomatic activities or other spouses. But as a friend of mine, she's new here, and she said, Anna, believe it or not, there are these WhatsApp groups, like, I am the spouse of the military attaché, so now I only hang out with military attaché spouses here in Beirut. I don't meet
wow,
others. It's like, what on earth is that?
yeah,
So there are all shapes, sizes, and forms, and obviously you are the only one who knows. If this is you, no judgment there. Go enjoy your military attaché spouses' lunches. Go listen.
yes,
But if you want to meet other people and you're actually more open, sorry, more open to, pardon,
that's okay.
you can do it differently. Yeah, that's
Yeah, you
the
can
whole
do
point.
you can do it differently, and I feel as though it's one thing that people don't really take into consideration, is it that you can have the people who are, yeah, at your post within your ministry, how, like, you could have those really close knit, but there's also a wider expat community, and then you've also got the local community, and navigating and creating friendships through all of those are what gives you strawberry jam, raspberry jam, and blueberry jam. Um,
Exactly. Yes,
and
absolutely.
why do we not want some variety too? So I feel as though um, I have definitely been a victim of this, in the sense of I've said on this podcast that when I moved to Kenya, I found it so difficult to, even though I live on a compound, so difficult to meet people in it probably sounds quite dramatic. In the first 2 weeks I arrived, I then started to break down the barriers. But I found that so challenging that I was like, oh, my emotional energy was just so low that it took me longer then to get out into the expat community. Um, and I think that's okay too. I feel as though you can take your time to go in and out, but if you can and you want all of the different flavors of jam, you really should, because it does enrich your life with meeting expats, other expats, and locals too.
Exactly. What's going on here? I don't know. But yes, I agree with you. I think this is um, for me staying in just diplomatic bubble. It's a tiny bubble. Expert bubble is a bit bigger, which is still cool. But I think ultimately, I think this is how you can enjoy the most of the country when you actually also have some interaction with local people.
Yeah.
This is what I enjoy the most.
Yeah, and it's amazing, isn't it, how they can, when you have those connections, how they open up your eyes to the culture that you live in. They can help you explore different places that are not part of on the I don't know about you, Anna, but if when you're in the expat kind of bubble, everyone goes to all of the same places because they're all linked. It's like this cafe is recommended, and you go to this restaurant, and you become part of the circuit of places to
Yes.
go. You know, so when you have that experience of local friends as well, they really do show you a completely different side to the country, which is just phenomenal.
Or even enjoying the food, because let's say I don't speak Arabic and I can go to a restaurant with my Lebanese friends. Well, I have definitely have a better understanding, what is what we can order, and what is it's just this, like even eating out is
Yeah.
amazing.
Yes. It's amazing. So, if you were going to say one little tip, if we were going to sum up everything, Anna, what would you say? One tip if someone wanted to find their high quality um, new best friend for life in the next month or so, what tip would you give them?
Okay, I would say just really know you are amazing. You don't need to conquer, prove, or validate yourself. So, and then just take your time, go out. Obviously, if you're sitting at home, well, chances are low things are going to happen and people kind of recklessly find you. So you put yourself out there, you're amazing. Your people, right? People will find you. Just have patience, you strike conversations, and you kind of know, okay, you don't have you are not the vanilla ice cream. No one is not everybody's going to enjoy your company, and that's cool too. And it will things will unfold, and you'll be surrounded in no time by people you enjoy. Just as long as you're you, authentic, amazing. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the tip I would give. How about you, Emma?
I would just say, just try and break down any barriers or stories that you have about yourself. So just things like, oh, I don't do things like that, or I couldn't possibly write in this WhatsApp group, or I couldn't do that, like, oh, that feels too scary. Just know that creating friendship is a skill, so you have to practice that skill. You're not necessarily, some people do find it easy, and they that's just their personality. If you don't find it easy, just know it's okay to not find it easy, and just practice with one small step.
Exactly. And at the end of the day, you don't need 100 people, to feel fulfilled and to call them all your friends. You really need a handful of amazing people in your life that really, truly see you and appreciate you for who you
Yes.
are.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you so much, Hannah. It's been amazing to talk to you, as always.
Likewise, it's always, and
Yeah.
time flies. I cannot believe, yeah, it's probably half an hour, right? It's
Yeah.
that we've been recording this one again.
Maybe even more. I don't know. I lose track because I just enjoy it so much.
Same here. So if you are listening to us, please share your thoughts, your feedback, any topics you'd like us to unpack for you, because it really feels like, well, let's unpack this, let's unpack that. And it's so exciting. And we've kind of unpacked a few questions that we've received in the past from our listeners. So your question could be the next one, right? Like
Yeah.
Christmas wrapping gift type of unpacking.
Yes, we love it. So please do keep sending them in our way. And Anna, if anybody wanted to find you, how can we find you?
Well, not just a spouse, .com, it's my website. Same handle for Instagram, not just a spouse. And I'm active on LinkedIn with my first and last name. And yeah, that's it. And how about you, Emma?
You can find me on Instagram at the Zesty Life, and both of our emails and all of the places you can find us are in the show notes, as well as our anonymous link form. So if you don't want to message us
Oh, yes,
directly, you can
exactly.
you can just go straight to there. And I promise we do not see anything. It doesn't ask for an email address. It doesn't say anything. Just click the link, and you can ask us a question. Ask us to talk about a topic or ask us to talk about anything. We're so open. But you're doing amazing
Absolutely.
things. So thank you everybody. So just keep liking the posts, sharing it with a friend, subscribing, doing all of the amazing things because we're really getting out there,
Thank
which is
you.
wonderful.
Yes. Exactly. And just before we go, right, Emma, we love reading your love notes, your feedback. And
Yes.
it's just like it always puts a huge smile on our faces, right? And we're really, truly grateful for all
We
the
are.
amazing feedback from you
We are.
guys.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so
Okay. See
so we
you
see
very
each other,
yeah.
yes, soon.
See
Bye.
you
Bye,
very soon. Bye
everyone.
everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.